Division 3 of the Midwest F1 League is officially past the halfway point of its season, and as the weather outside gets colder, the action gets hotter. Welcome to Week 9 here at the Marina Bay Circuit here in Singapore. 23 corners make up this 5-kilometer circuit with 14 to the left and 9 to the right. 2 DRS zones here make for the best opportunities for overtaking, with the average speed of the track just over 107 miles per hour. Now, Virtual Pirelli have gone with the C5 softs, C4 mediums, and C3 hards, the softest tires in the Pirelli range. And don't you forget about those intermediate and wet compounds as well. Due to the extremely humid nature of this part of the world, we are typically in for a rain race every once in a while. I know for a fact the season finale of Division 2 last season turned into a wet race, and that was absolutely fun to watch. So, a couple driver changes tonight as Ulek Hovland fills in for Knuckles in the Aston Martin. Feeman steps in for Humble Hippo in the Alpine, and look at this, it is potentially full wet. This, I tell you what, now, it looks like it's going to be full wet just from the looks of it right now. Oh, man. This is not going to be pretty, ladies and gentlemen. But Ulek Hovland fills in for Knuckles in the Aston Martin. Feeman steps in for Humble Hippo in the Alpine. Shelley the Turtle takes over the Ferrari seat of Hammer this week. And finally, V Shoots Gween, who I got the pleasure of spectating last week in Division 5, fills in the Red Bull seat of J-Steed. Longest race on the calendar, and we're 30 minutes late, says Pork Chops. Third race in a row, fully wet, says Shelley the Turtle. This one is going to be interesting. Full wet quali and rain throughout the race. Goodness me, we are in for a treat, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully the safety car has been set to reduce. As you can see, Shelley the Turtle first out on track on those wet tires, almost binning it already, getting up to speed. Oh, this race is not going to be pretty. But a couple Singapore stats just to start us off right now. As it stands right now in the real F1 world, Kevin Magnussen holds the in-race lap record at the circuit. Drivers can typically lose up to 3 kilograms of weight during the race due to the extreme heat that usually happens here. And the first driver to win at the circuit was Fernando Alonso in the infamous Crashgate race back in 2008, which is actually the anniversary of that passed just a couple days ago. I think it may have been only a day or two ago, really. But as far as Midwest F1 stats are concerned, driver in the field tonight, Ray 46 in the Haas. If you remember correctly, in the Division 2 finale last season, finished P2 in a very exciting race there. So definitely look out for him, especially that race was in the wet. So my eye is going to be on Ray 46 coming into tonight. This is only the second time that Division 3 has raced on this circuit. Was last season's season finale race, as it was across all divisions, and then I don't think we're going to break it now that we notice the entire race is going to be fully wet. But Wild Mida currently holds the fastest Div 3 lap record at a 1:39.028. And it's going to be interesting to see how wet this race really is. As you can see, the driver's on full wets at the moment. Definitely no fooling about going to be had switching to the intermediate tires. There's absolutely no way you could be on the intermediate tires in this sort of rain. As I'm getting attacked by Pork Chops at the moment. It says thunderstorms 10 minutes into the race. We have thunderstorms in this game? So here we go, the unofficial track guide to the Singapore circuit down into turn 1 here. These first couple corners going to be absolutely crucial in the early stages of the race. 1, 2, and 3 fairly straightforward. Beware of track limits on exit of turn 1. Turn number 3 here, pretty straightforward. Now turn 4 and 5, really be careful on exit of 5, as you could potentially hit that wall, not just in the rain, but in the dry as well. Down through the DRS section here. A little bit of a twist there as we go through 6, and now into 7, 90-degree left-hand corner. Definitely beware of track limits on exit. A lot of drivers love to use up all the curb they can. Down into turn 8. Shelley, is he going to hold on to it? The answer is yes. Hasn't invalidated his lap either. I think he's kept the car in one piece as well. Just trying to warm up the tires still through turn 8. Really, typically drivers take that as close to the wall as they can. Then down the straight after turn 9. Into 10. This section of the track typically isn't that slow. It definitely a pretty fast part of the circuit here, but you have to be really, really careful as well, where the old Singapore sling chicane used to be. Over the bridge, be careful of that braking zone. Not only the braking zone, but that wall as well on the right side of the circuit can definitely get to you out of turn 13 into the DRS section, which apparently, according to the F1 website, that is no longer a DRS section of the 2021 season. But here we go through some of these chicanes here. This is turn 16 and 17. Definitely want to ride the curb through turn 16 there, or through turn 17 rather. Then underneath the stadium seats, 18 and 19. Pretty straightforward, just beware of the wall on the exit of the corner. That usually does get to drivers. And then finally through 20, 21. Again, really, really straightforward. And then as you can see, the pit entry coming up on your left-hand side there. Really got to be careful with that pit entry as well. It's not exactly the easiest one to get through. Exiting turn 23, and that is your unofficial track guide to the Marina Bay Circuit, as Shelly the Turtle, despite having made, I don't want to say mistakes, just having a bit of trouble. A 2-minute lap, almost flat as well. 2 minutes and 3 tenths per second. Mitch Burns goes 159.123. That is going to be our fastest lap of the race. V shoots Queen, the reserve driver in the Red Bull, outdoes his teammate by 2.25 seconds. So not bad. A 156.898. Not bad whatsoever there from V shoots Queen. I do believe we have an Alpha Tauri off over there. That looks like Racing Ginger. Something has happened to him. He's got the Ferrari of, I believe that's Spool and Dub on an outlap behind him. That was the other Ferrari. That's Shelly the Turtle. Spool and Dub, though, is on a timed lap. Actually, let's go along with Ray 46. Ooh, we got a Mercedes off somewhere. That looks like the Noganator. Oh, when he's done in his front wing as well. That is definitely not helpful. Let's go along with Ray 46, who, as I said before, put together a really solid effort in the Division 2 race in conditions very similar to this. In fact, it was one of those races where a lot of people were having a tough time deciding whether or not to go on to the intermediate tires, go onto the wet tires rather. A lot of people were really having a bit of a struggle making that decision, and Ray 46 took advantage of it and was able to put together one heck of a performance, finishing P2 in what at the time was his final Division 2 race before he self-demoted himself down into Division 3. As Wild Mida appears to have left the session, not exactly what he needs. V shoots Queen still atop the charts here. I don't think Ray 46 is going to get in the best effort at a time lap here. He's got a little bit of work to do, final couple corners. Let's see where he comes out. It's going to be P4 at the moment, a cool 3 seconds behind off the pace at the moment. Not bad at all. Meanwhile, Dead Text Message has gone P2 so far. Around the corner now, I believe is going to come Mitch Burns. No, that's the other Red Bull. V shoots Queen off the final corner, and it doesn't look like he's going to improve his time any. Dead Text Message is in the wall somewhere. Over to Pork Chops, as fast as we can. Coming around the final 2 corners. Pork Chops doing a good job in the Drivers' Championship. Puts himself P5 at the moment. I will say, this is a hugely gapped out field. Not just from first to ninth, but between first and second, nearly 2 seconds at the moment. We have a Haas off. Oh, Pork Chops has gone around. Dug in his front wing as soon as we went on board with him there. Wild Might has rejoined the session, but I tell you what, the laps are about 2 minutes. Not to mention the fact that you're going to have to come in every once in a while. There's not going to be many attempts at timed laps here. These drivers really, at the moment, are just doing everything they can to simply survive the circuit. Pork Chop's going to need to make his way back to the pits. D&E Nico looks to have started a timed lap. Let's go on with him. And he's already invalidated. Noganator, what's happened to him? Has he just gone in the pits? Well, that's exactly what's happened. Noganator's gone in the pits. Evil Prime on his timed lap here. Coming around the final 2 corners. Dead Text Message, 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Capital 58. What exactly has happened there as Evil Prime goes P3? But what's happened with Capital 58 now? He doesn't have any sort of damage on here, but what has caused this 5-second penalty? Has he just gone off somewhere? I'm not entirely sure. as it appears Ulek Hovland going rather slowly on track. Looks like he's just correcting himself. Maybe took a spin coming out of turn number 13. Definitely possible, especially if you hit the inside of that. Drivers typically want to take as much of the apex of that corner as they possibly can, but it's not uncommon for somebody to hit their rear tire on the inside of the wall. See, I believe that's the Haas of SC Smith coming around the final corner. No, that's going to be Ray. Let's see what he's got. I believe he's going to be starting another timed one now. It doesn't look like he was able to get something off. It looks like there's too many blue colors, I swear to Jesus, man. Dean Nico's done in his lap. SC Smith's done in his lap. Unholy Red Eye, he has just started his timed lap going out of turn number 3 at the moment. Ooh, a little bit of wheel spin coming out of the corner. Across the line, I believe, went the Williams of K-Dog starting her time lap. Let's see what Unholy Red Eye has in store. Now he's looking to be on a pretty solid lap at the moment. 32.5 in Sector 1. I believe that's a Haas that has gone off over there. I'm not entirely sure which one it is. I believe it's going to be Ray 46, although I could be wrong. Unholy Red Eye, let's see how he still handles. Yeah, he's trying to be really, really careful on the throttle, which you need to be, especially with this circuit. Not to mention the circuit in general, but in the rain as well. And I tell you what, he's absolutely tiptoeing his way through the tulips. Doesn't look to be on a bad lap. I tell you what, though, that's probably going to make the difference between some of these drivers on good laps and some of these drivers on not so good laps, is that some of these drivers on the exceptionally good laps are going to be the ones that kind of take their time, kind of be careful with it, as opposed to these drivers that are going to go really all out and then make some sort of mistake. It looks like at the moment Unholy Red Eye just doing everything he can to keep the car off the barriers. Has only had that one instance of wheel spin that I've seen so far. It was coming out of turn number 3. Otherwise, I mean, he looks to be on a solid lap, albeit it's a bit slow. But, I mean, who knows? Oh, and as I say, he hasn't made any mistakes. Now he's going to block off the entire tunnel as Ray 46 coming around the corner. Now he is inside the tunnel. Doesn't have any other cars coming. He's got just a bit of a window to maybe get things back to normal. And, well, yeah, he's doing a good job of blockading it off. Let's see if Feeman can get through it here. And, yeah, it looks like Wild Midas, or Unholy Red Eye, rather, has finally done his part and gotten out of the way. This is K-Dog, rather. K-Dog does look to be on a bit of a slower lap, passing 156 now. I will say there really hasn't been any sort of challenge at the top spot so far of V-Shoots Green. I really thought that Unholy Red Eye was going to have a solid lap right there. As it turns out, after I said that, he's really kind of done in the car. But here comes Ulek Hovland, one of the people that graciously work on all the YouTube graphics and whatnot. You can thank you for that little MidWest graphic down in your left-hand corner, and all the under investigation graphics as well, although it does look like he's on a bit of a slow lap right now. And I think, luckily he hasn't invalidated it there. Let's see where that puts him. P12, 12 seconds off the pace. As I believe D&E Nico's just on P9, not a terrible lap at all. Evil Prime going to be coming around these last final corners now. A little bit of wheel spin coming out of the final. Oh my god, and he's going into the pits. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Let's see, who else we have coming out on a timed lap? Nobody really. The next furthest car up, I believe, is the Ferrari of Shelly the Turtle, who is on an out lap. He's got both of the Red Bull, one of the Red Bulls on an out lap behind him. That looks like V-Shoots Queen. Very interesting name, I'll say that. Oh, Nico's going around. Luckily, he's in not that bad part of the circuit. He's got a little bit of wiggle room here to try to get the car span around. He's going to have to do it quickly. He's got the Alfa Romeo of, I believe that's dead text message behind him. Well, that's Pork Chops, actually. Really don't want to be taking up the track in front of the league leader here. Oh, Pork Chops slowing down again. Something's going on with Pork Chops, as we have, I believe, that is the Ferrari of Shelling the Turtle starting his time lap. Let's go along with him as he enters turn 1. It almost looks like for a little bit there, well, it just went under something because the track was a little bit dry. Let's see how Shelly the Turtle does. Nice and easy on the throttle coming out of turn number 3. Doesn't look that bad. Now into 4. Doesn't really take up all the curbing that I would expect. Lots of wheel spin on exit of turn 5 into the what would be DRS section here. Yellow flag over there. Looks like Ulek Hovland may have gone around. One of the Aston Martins. Oh, it's Holvin. Ulek Holvin. I've been saying that slightly incorrectly now that I just realize it. As a commentator, sometimes your brain just goes that fast, has to keep up with everything. You kind of throw name pronunciation out the window. And Shelly the Turtle, speaking of throwing things out the window, almost threw his car off the track. Right there. Through the bridge now into this very, very tight turn 13. Let's see the line he gets through it. Actually doesn't look that bad at all. Kissed the apex quite nicely there. Doesn't look to be on that bad of a lap. I don't know if it's going to challenge for pole or not, but it's going to be a solid one at least. A purple sector too, so that's pretty good. He's got that. Going into turn 15 and 16 now. Quick little back and forth here. Took up all the curb through 17. 18 and 19 under the seats. Oh, he hits the wall right there. Doesn't invalidate his lap. I don't think he's done in his front wing that bad either. No, he hasn't. His front wing looks fine. Probably a good lime color more than anything else. And, well, yeah, that's probably done it there. He's got the final two corners now. Let's see how he handles it. Shelly the Turtle to the line. Going to be at least 2 seconds off pace. No, less than a second and a half. Goes P2 for Shelly the Turtle, and I definitely think, had he not hit the wall going through turn 18 and then finally after 21 there, I think if he didn't hit the wall in that section of the track, he would have had a much better lap. V-Shoots starting his timed lap. To the line now comes the Aston Martin of, I believe, Capital 58 around the final two corners. Let's see how this turns out. Only going to jump up to P11, not the lap that he needed. I believe this is Mitch Burns coming around the final corner to start a timed lap. Also the Haas of Ray 46, no, I guessed incorrectly. SC Smith starting a timed lap. The Ferrari of Spool and Dub, I believe, starting a timed lap now. Next up is the AlphaTauri of Evil Prime. And after him, I believe it's the McLaren. Oh, what's happened here? Something's gone off with my... Anyways. A little bit of back and forth there for Evil Prime. Wild Mida sits down a pretty solid lap, about a second and a half behind the leader. Only 5 cars choosing to be in the pits right now. Oh, Wild Mida invalidating that lap. Around the final corner comes Pork Chops. Let's see if he's got anything up his sleeve. Pork Chops only going to jump to P7. Not exactly what he needed. Unholy Red Eye is going to be the next to cross the line here, going through the stadium section. Unholy Red Eye, let's see what he's got. It doesn't look like he's on that bad of a lap. I'm going to guess at least a second slow, maybe 2. Yeah, it doesn't look that bad at all. Going to go P4. Yeah, I was pretty close there. Second and a half off. Not bad at all. Well, V-Shoots I mean, where the pace has come from is unbelievable. Ray 46, I think he's going to stay P4. Next across the line is Kaz, goes P9. I think up next is going to be the Red Bull of V-Shoots Queen. Let's see if he can improve his time. I don't think he does. Next up, I believe, is the Ferrari of Shelly the Turtle, as I believe that was either Wild Mida or Ray that had a little bit of an incident there. Next up, I believe, is going to be the Mercedes of Dean and Nico, who has invalidated his lap. I think he's going to get time for one more, and yes, he does. Dean and Nico this season has been one of those drivers that have struggled in the wet conditions. He really, not to mention, he is in real need of a good result here. Definitely capable of one. But let's see how he does. As SC Smith jumps up to P7, the Ferrari of Spool and Dub goes P3 at the end of the session. So Ferrari row 2 lockout at the moment. Red Bull front row lockout. AlphaTauri, I believe that's Evil Prime around the final corner. Gonna go P3. What a lap for Evil Prime. Not to mention Mitch Burns went within 0.5 of a second. Evil Prime goes within 0.8 of a second, or 0.9 of a second rather. Not a bad lap at all. Next across the line, I believe, is going to be ZGS here. Coming around the final corner. Let's see what he does. Going to go P18. Not what he needed. I believe next across is going to be the Alpine of Wild Mida, who's going into the pits. Behind him, the Alfa Romeo of Pork Chops across the line. Now let's see what he's got in store. And he's going to go up to P11. Not exactly the best lap that he's capable of. I'm sure he's looking to do better in the race. Unholy Red Eye now, coming around the final 2 corners. I think he's going to be on an in-lap, though. Maybe not. He's got to shop for a better position. Let's see where he comes out. Unholy Red Eye around these final couple corners. I don't think he's going to get pole, but he's going to go P3. What a lap from Unholy Red Eye. Now around the final corner comes Ray 46. Let's see what he's got in store. I think he's going to be a little bit slow. Ray 46 stays P8. SC Smith, now he's gone purple in Sector 2. V Shoots Queen, pole position still. A second and a half the gap back to his teammate of Mitch Burns. Across the line comes the McLaren, who's already done. I think after that also the Mercedes, who's already done. SC Smith and D&E Nico. Actually, that is D&E Nico. Let's see where that puts him to. Oh, the pit lane. Mitch Burns still to complete his lap. Nope, I may have lied to you. SC Smith coming around the final corner. Oh man, this might actually be a pretty solid lap here from SC Smith. Where does he go? And he's going to go P6. Not bad at all, but V Shoots Queen coming off of Div 5 last week goes P1 here at Singapore. It's a Red Bull front row lockout. What else could you expect this season from Red Bull? They're leading the Constructors' Championship by 36 points. They are absolutely dominating Division 3 so far this season. They have a comfortable gap at the top of the table, and they are absolutely putting on a dominant performance here. What a lap by both V Shoots Queen and Mitch Burns. Now, I thought the lap that Mitch Burns was on before was fast. V Shoots Queen blew that out of the water. And so, your final qualifying results: V Shoots Queen in first, Mitch Burns in second, Unholy Red Eye third, Evil Prime fourth, Spool and Dub in fifth, SC Smith sixth, seventh is Shelly the Turtle, wow, it's a mouthful, eighth is Wild Mida, ninth is Ray 46, 10th is Dead Text Message, 11th Pork Chops, 12th is Kaz, 13th is Nico, 14th Capital 58, 15th Racing Ginger, 16th K-Dog, 17th Ulek Holvein, 18th is ZGS, 19th is the Noganator, and rounding out the field in P20 is Feeman in the Williams. But a front row lockout for the Red Bulls. Let's see if they can continue that into the race. And someone appears to have hit the X button, whether it be Pork or anyone else. As it says, waiting for players. And as we begin our formation lap here, a reminder, this edition of the Midwest F1 League is brought to you by Raise Energy. Now, Raise Energy is becoming one of the fastest growing energy drink brands in the United States right now. It's all because of their top-of-the-line flavors and precise formulas that ensure you're getting the most out of every single can. And with no dyes, fillers, or unnecessary junk, Raise Energy, it will get the job done. It's a smooth energy drink with no crash afterwards. I mean, what more could you want? Visit repsports.com and use promo code MWF1 at checkout for 15% off your order. Click the link in the description to begin your supply of Raise Energy, and also be sure to check out the Slipstream podcast hosted by Adel, Tony, and Linky 12, discussing all things Formula 1 and Midwest F1 League related. Now, the pit stop strategy, as you can see on your screen now, the one stop looking to box around lap 15, it says. Now, the wet tires will last approximately between 19 and 27 laps. So, you will need to box at least one time in this race, according to that, and I think there's a rule with that as well. But you'll need to box at least one time in this race, so definitely look out for that, depending on where drivers take it, or maybe if they think that the rain is lightening up. I don't think it will. This one is going to be a tough race today. And I tell you what, the thing is, whoever wins this race, it's going to be determined by not only how clean their race is, but by how much they get out of these tires. You can't be making mistakes on these tires. You can't be wasting your tire compounds either. You really have to be aware of not only the track around you, but what your tires are at, what your car's doing. Awareness, that's going to be the key to the game today. Red Bull Racing, a front row lockout for them, but Unholy Red Eye, second to the Red Bulls in points, second to the Red Bulls on track, as the Alpine team has P2 in the constructor standings at the moment, a cool 36 points behind It's going to be a big race for that as well. Towards the midfield, though, Alfa Romeo, Aston Martin, and Ferrari, all within a decent gap of each other, within 20 points or so. So that should be a solid battle for P3. The rest of the field's kind of spread out. Hasn't been any movement, especially since last week in Japan. Nobody's changed around any positions. Let's just see, has anybody been, I don't want to say dumb enough, but has anyone gone and put on those intermediate tires? And no, the answer is going to be no to that. Definitely the full wet's going to be the answer here as the grid starts to form up here behind V-Shoots Glean in the Red Bull. A couple drivers this week sporting pink helmets in support of breast cancer awareness as a thing that Monkey Mafia put on. Good thing to support there. A couple drivers also sporting orange helmets, which means something in Canadian. Hang on, it's a Canadian thing, I know that much. I'm not entirely sure what it is. I know I was just told this, but I'll figure it out in a second. Anyways, lights are coming on here at Singapore. A Spoolendub, he's gonna jump the start. It's lights out and away we go. Back in Div 5 last week I had a driver jump the start, but here we go, off the line. V-Shoots Queen gets an excellent start to the race. Unholy Red Eye gets a better one. It's gonna be 4 abreast back there towards the midfield. It appears that everybody's gonna get away cleanly, but the real winner to this is gonna be V-Shoots Queen. He's made it through that first corner with no problems at all, and it looks like a couple drivers shuffling around. Pork Chops, Kaz being shuffled around as well. What a great start to the race it's been as they go down the straight here. Evil Prime going to be looking to the right-hand side of Mitch Burns down into, this is turn number 7 here. It's going to be a real test of braking abilities today, and Evil Prime's going to get the position. Nicely done there. Back a little bit further, Wild Mida wants in on Spoolendub here. Spoolin's going to go a little bit wider. I think Wild's going to have a better exit of the corner. Not to mention Spoolendub really breathing down the neck of Mitch Burns. Coming out of turn number 9 this is. We do have a car off towards the back. That's Ulet Kovlin, and I believe the Noganator has, something has happened there. Unfortunate for those two drivers as they now have a lot of ground to make up and surely some pit stops to happen as well. Into the bridge they go. Let's see who's going to be able to make something happen. Wild Mida almost looked like he wanted to go around the outside, but he's going to stay tame and stay in line here. Pretty exciting first lap as we look a little bit further back. ZGS, I don't think had the best exit to that corner as Capital 58, Feeman right behind him, looking to make some sort of move, but I do not think it's going to happen this lap. Wild Mida, 0.2 of a second behind Spoolendub. Wild Mida has the fastest lap of the circuit. He knows this lane like the back of his hand. Let's see if he can make something happen here. It's going to be an absolute mess in the wet, and it looks like we have some sort of incident back there. That's K-Dog. That's gone off there, and a virtual safety car has come out. What has happened to K-Dog? Can we go along with her? Can I figure out this thing? Something has happened to K-Dog, and yeah, she's lost all of her front wing there. Please don't bin the car under VSC. That is probably the last thing that you want. But V-Shoots Queen has the lead by a comfortable margin as well, nearly 3 seconds. Evil Prime behind him, behind Unholy Red Eye in third. Mitch Burns, what happened to him on the start? I thought that he was going to be a real test here off the line, but as it turns out, Evil Prime was able to get past him and Unholy Red Eye. Mitch Burns losing out 2 spots on the starters. I think we just saw a little bit of lightning in the background there. As the VSC carries on here, a little bit of a gap forming between the top 4 and the rest of the field now. It looks like the closest battle is going to be between Shelly the Turtle and Pork Chops. We still have virtual safety car out on track. Now still the virtual safety car. As you can see, the predicted pit stop strategy around lap 16. Ulet Kovlin picking up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. Shelly the Turtle had a lot of oversteer coming off of that corner. Didi Nico was able to slip by. Here's SC Smith around the left-hand side. Right behind them, Dead Text Message wants in on it as well. He's going to back off at this moment in the time. Shelly the Turtle going to get forced right up to the edge of the circuit. Somehow keeps that thing clean. Great defensive driving there from Shelly the Turtle, nearly binning the car in the process. Oh, what's happened? SC Smith, he's gone into the barriers. Big problems there for SC Smith. Missed his braking zone completely, taking about 3 corners along with him. A little bit of contact up ahead. I believe it's Capital and Feeman there. Something has happened with SC Smith. Maybe just missed his braking point a little bit there. Not what you want to see at all, and he's lost spots in the process. Pork Chop's now trying to pressure Ray 46. He's got Dean and Nico behind him as well. Pack's starting to get a little bit more spread out than I'd like here. Pork Chop still doing everything he can to find the back of Ray 46. Got a little bit too generous over the curbs there. Almost lost his front wing in the DHL sign. Ray 46 really getting elbows out. Evil Prime looks to be within 0.7 of a second on Unholy Red Eye. This is the battle for second position. Spoolendup going down the order, serving his drive-through penalty from the start. And it looks like now, is he going to be just taking, could he be taking a stop? Or he's off track. He's not moving. Well, anyways. But Unholy Red Eye had a little bit of a gap to Evil Prime not that long ago, as Unholy Red Eye just made a big mistake coming out of those final couple corners, and that definitely looks to have happened. What's happened here? Something somewhere has gone off. I'm not entirely sure what's happened to bring out the virtual safety car, but it is out. Could it have just been maybe Spoolendup exiting the pits, got into somebody? I'm not entirely sure. Could it have been maybe the Haas of SC Smith currently boxed? I saw a couple cars go slowly towards that end of the track. V-Shoots Gween has amounted to a 8-second gap between him and Unholy Red Eye. Nicely done. Evil Prime's going to want to use the absolute most of this virtual safety car here. And as it turns out, the orange helmet is Canadian National Truth and Reconciliation Day. I'm not entirely sure what that means. Someone's going to have to fill me in on that. Truthfully, well, I mean, despite me being geography located pretty much close to Canada, I've about no idea what goes on over there. But yeah, that is one of the reasons you'll see some orange helmets out there today. For those who do not go to the link, the very short of it is, oh, we have Capital 58 picking up drive-through penalty. Apparently it is Canada recognizing the harms done to the Indigenous people with practices at residential schools. Schools were recently many thousands. Wow, so as it turns out, yeah, Canada doing their part, giving a whole day of remembrance to the harm they've done to the Indigenous people. That's pretty cool, I think. Not the harm to the Indigenous people, of course, but the fact that Canada's doing what everybody should do and reflect on what they've done that could harm people and whatnot. So yeah, a couple orange lids out there tonight. Good to see. Meanwhile, Pork Chop's P7 trying to find his way back to Ray 46. 0.5 of a second the gap. Evil Prime, well, I was hoping was going to use the most of that virtual safety car. That's in fact what he didn't do. He's got now a 1.5 second gap. Dean and Nico picking up 3 seconds for multiple warnings as he finds himself, I'm assuming that's going through turns 1 and 2. Not an uncommon spot to pick up a penalty there. Now Pork Chop's using a lot of his ERS. He had it banked up 90%. Trying to find his way to the back of Ray 46 now as they go into turn number 7. Ray 46, I will say, is doing an excellent job of keeping his driving pretty consistent here and giving Pork Chops, really making it a test of patience here as we see Shelly the Turtle on board with Shelly the Turtle trying to find his way back to Dean and Nico. Nico's going to slip to the inside of Pork Chops. Pork has made some sort of mistake. Shelly the Turtle gets into the gearbox of Pork Chops there, going through turn number 9. Something has happened there. Pork Chops has made some sort of mistake that resulted in that loss of position to Dean and Nico, and almost got into it again with Shelly the Turtle. Dead text message behind, I think, has he just slapped the wall? I heard some sort of barrier crunching there. He's got the Williams of Feeman not that far behind, 0.3 of a second. Let's see what can happen here as they head down the straight now out of turn number 13. Feeman's got a big red X over his name. I assume that means nothing's really going to happen. Nothing's really going to happen. I think that's K-Dog that's had a little bit of an off there going under the bridge. Shelly the Turtle right up against the gearbox of Pork Chops here. And this is the key part as well. Shelly the Turtle, or Pork Chops really, if you want to defend your position on this track, you're going to have to do absolutely everything you can to fend off some of these guys from this position. It's not easy conditions out there whatsoever. And a K-Dog retiring from the session in the pits. Oh, Shelly the Turtle, big wiggle there coming out of, I believe that's turn number 21. V-Shoot's win built up a 10-second gap back to Unholy Red Eye. Dini Nico within 0.8 of a second on Ray 46. Ray taking that corner a lot wider than Dini Nico. Let's see who's going to have the better exit, and I definitely think Ray, despite having that, made up a lot of ground. We do have another virtual safety car on the circuit. That makes 3 so far. Again, not entirely sure why we have a VSC. Doesn't look to be any incidents anywhere. Could it be just to potentially pick up debris? I'm not entirely sure. But so far, V-Shoot's clean, building up a huge gap on the rest of the field. 13 seconds as it is. And I tell you what, it could be he's making the most out of these virtual safety cars that we have. That could definitely play in as a factor as that gap gets bigger every time. So my headsets are starting to... earphones are starting to bug me a little bit. I just got a new microphone this past week, but really should have bought new earbuds to go along with it. So, Shelly the Turtle trying to find his way back to Pork Chop still. Dini Nico now, that's 0.9 of a second back on Pork Chops. Not that far behind Dini Nico and Ray 46. So this is going to turn into about a 4-5 car battle for this 6th position here. Still under virtual safety car, but there is a lot of people up for grabs for this 6th position. Virtual safety car ends, we're back under green. Evil Prime starting to chop down that gap just a little bit as Ulek Hovland goes into the pits and DNFs. Evil Prime P3 at the moment, still trying to whittle down that second gap. Now within a second, let's go on along with that to see what's happening here. Evil Prime slowly starting to make up some ground on Unholy Red Eye. That gap holding steady about a second. Out of the pits comes Ulek Hovland now. We do have proof that he retired from the session in the pits, did it correctly, but his car has chosen to make its way back out on track for some reason. Pork Chop's now 0.6 of a second away from Dini Nico. Evil Prime still trying to find his way to the back of Unholy Red Eye. I'm more interested in this battle for P2 at the moment. Seems like some good battling going on back there, but this is the more relevant one. And it looks like Ulek Hovland saying in the Discord that he was the one that actually hit K-Dog out of the way. As you see, Evil Prime really gingerly making his way around the circuit. Really, a lot of these drivers, as you can see, saving up their energy store. Nobody really needs to use it at this point in time. If you use it too much, you're going to get wheel spin, and that's going to be a huge problem for you. So a lot of these drivers really only using their energy store going along the straights, as I believe we're going to see happen now as Evil Prime coming out of turn number 13. He might have a chance to overtake this time by Unholy Red Eye. Big oversteer coming out of the corner. Let's see what Evil Prime can do, and yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to get the spot this time by. As Dini Nico, 0.3 of a second back to Ray 46, into turn 13. Let's see what can happen here. Dini Nico back down to the inside, gonna slam the overtake button and gonna try his best to get past Ray. I will say Ray has been doing an excellent job, despite being under this pressure of keeping the position. You have to respect his efforts, but I think Dini Nico is on a mission right now. He does have a time penalty, mind you, but I think he's got something for him here. That was a pretty cool camera angle, if I say so myself. Dini Nico using every inch of the circuit that he can, right behind the Haas of Ray 46. Under the stadium seats they go. Still 0.4 of a second the gap. We're going to hang along with these guys through the straight here as it looks like Evil Prime and Unholy Red Eye, they're going at it again. Down the pit straight they go. Let's see if Dini Nico has anything for Ray 46 this time by. It's going to be a close one into turn 1, but I think Dini Nico's going to play it a little bit safer and back off of the position for now. Mind you, a big train of cars. Positions 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, all within about 4 seconds of each other. That's not a big gap at all. Dean and Nico still right there to the back of Ray 46. Hasn't really found a way to get around him yet. I will say Ray 46 doing everything he can to keep these positions. I think a little bit of a mistake there from Ray 46. Nico's right there, just can't find the room around him. This track is hard to overtake on in the dry, never mind the wet. Now I think is going to be the chance for Dean and Nico. He almost found the inside. Ray 46 had a bit of a mistake there, and Dean and Nico did not capitalize. Now, can he find another opportunity down to the left side? Dean and Nico's going to have a big chance here going across the bridge and into turn 13. Let's see if he can make something happen along this long straight. Really taking the brakes late there is Dean and Nico. Again, I don't think he's going to have anything for him here. Car's really struggling for grip on exit at turn 13, and it looks like Dean and Nico may have missed his chance there, although Ray 46 did not take that corner well at all. I think he may have made contact with the barrier, although his wing does look clean. Evil Prime falling to outside of a second now. Shelly the Turtle on the back of Pork Chops. Yet again, a great little train of cars here throughout the midfield, and I believe that's Dead Text Message creeping in on this as well. He wants into the mix. Pretty solid race so far. Kaz to the back of Feeman. I'm pretty sure Feeman is a robot at the moment in time. Hopefully you can get past him. Let's go back up to Evil Prime. Oh, we have a Haas off over there. That's SC Smith over in turn number 14. Not the place where you want to go off at all. Evil Prime, 0.7 of a second the gap back to Unholy Red Eye, which doesn't sound like a lot until you realize that we're on Singapore. Ooh, big oversteer there for Evil Prime coming out of the corner. Not what he needed, and ooh, he's going to miss that braking zone as well. I tell you what, Evil Prime is a really good driver, but I think he's just making one too many mistakes right now to get this position. As we go a little bit further back, Dean and Nico still trying to find his way past Ray 46. A little bit of a gap has opened up between Pork Chops and Dean and Nico. Pork Chops, by the way, under pressure here from Shelly the Turtle as they go into turn number 9. Looks like a little bit further back, Spool and Dub. Can he get around Racing Ginger? It's going to be close between these two. I don't think Spool and Dub's going to have anything for him this time by, although he's going to get right up close to him. Not exactly make him comfortable whatsoever. That's a pretty cool shot of a rear suspension. Thank you, game. Dean and Nico taking the corner a little bit wider than Ray. 4 cars, all 1, 2, 3, 4, and then eventually 5, all coming out of turn 13 nicely. I will say, though, hopefully the overtaking doesn't come from the pit strategy, because right now I want to see some racing, and these guys are doing a really good job of keeping it clean. But once that pit strategy gets thrown out the window, somebody is going to have to make a move, and I think it's going to have to be Dean and Nico. I think he has the pace to do Ray 46. The question is, does he have the patience? Kaz picking up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Man, my audio is really bugging right now on those onboard shots. Evil Prime still within a second on Unholy Red Eye. I don't think there's been much he can do so far. Dean and Nico, I don't think close enough to make the overtake just yet. Pork Chops, neither is he. Dean and Nico, though, right up to the back of Ray 46, and Shelly the Turtle picking up 3 seconds from multiple warnings there. Not what he needed at all. He's right in the fight for this position as well. Dean and Nico right to the back of Ray 46. Can he make the overtake this time by? I tell you what, someone is going to have to throw caution to the wind here. They're not going to have all the time in the world. Granted, this is a very long race. Someone's going to have to make a move here. Dean and Nico still trying his best to find room, but Ray 46 just isn't letting him have it. Let's check in on the battle for second place now. Evil Prime and Unholy Red Eye still doing everything they can. Meanwhile, Mitch Burns slowly but surely trying to find his way back into this fight. It looks like Pork Chops making a move on Dean and Nico, or potentially Dean and Nico going straight across the curbing there. This isn't the Singapore sling anymore. You can't do that type of maneuver. Pork Chops is doing everything he can. Oh, Dean and Nico hit the wall and exited the corner. Hopefully that hasn't resulted in wing damage. It doesn't look like it is. Although, I tell you what, this has been a huge test of patience so far for these drivers. Ray 46 is not holding these guys up. Ray 46 is doing a great job at trying to defend his way to keeping the position. Dini Nico, up to 6 seconds now of time penalty after that one. Not what he needed at all. Man, unfortunate for Nico there. Here we go, the two McLarens battling now underneath the bridge. And I think they're going to have to take it kind of easy with each other. McLaren's still last place in the Constructors. They don't really need any more incidents, do they? As it looks like Kaz is going to be one of our first drivers to stop, potentially for the new tires. He's going to make his way in. It's a pretty big gamble going in this early. It's not like he's necessarily close enough to make that gamble pay off, really. I mean, he's going to have to make up some serious time, although it does look like maybe the track's starting to dry up a little bit. Yeah, Kaz is putting on the intermediate tires. Kaz taking the gamble, putting on the intermediates. Something has happened there. Shelly the Turtle's gone round, and he's right in the middle of the circuit as well. On through comes ZGS. Shelly the Turtle missing a bit of his front wing there. Definitely looks like the track's starting to dry up a little bit. How fast is Kaz going to be on these tires? Let's see what he can do. I'm watching the interval right now. As we go up a little bit through the field, Dini Nico made a huge mistake there coming out of turn 10. And I believe that's, turn 9 rather, and I believe that's resulted in him losing the position to Pork Chops. And this, unfortunately, I think is starting to become somewhat of a trend for Dini Nico. On pace for some really solid results, but then one or two little mistakes is just, I don't want to say hurting his confidence, but he's definitely capable of good results. And I tell you what, it's a bit of a shame to not see him grab some in some of these races. But I tell you what, now is going to be the time. The track's starting to look like it's drying up. Kaz, although I will say, doesn't really look like he's catching up to the Noganator. Meanwhile, Dini Nico now up to 9 seconds of penalty, not what he needed. Noganator still trying to find his way to Racing Ginger. Definitely looks like the rain is lightening up a little bit. At hope. 3 cars coming in. Unholy Red Eye, Evil Prime, and Mitch Burns all choosing to come in now. This is going to be a huge mix-up here. Whoever gets the best stop is going to come out on top. All 3 drivers putting on the intermediate tires, and it looks like Unholy Red Eye is going to get the benefit here. Wild Mida creeps his way up into P2. Evil Prime is going to come out in 4th. Never mind, yeah, a little bit farther back. Pork Chops coming out now. A lot of the field choosing to come in now. Multiple cars. The question is have they made this decision too early? I don't think Kaz, to use him as the benchmark, because he was the first driver to come in, I don't necessarily think he's making up that much time. He's at about a 13-second gap when he came out of the pits. He's about, yeah, he is definitely starting to make up gap now because drivers are pitting. So, it's up to V-Shoots Gween now. Wild Mida's behind him in P2. Well, a solid 40 seconds behind. And Wild Mida's gonna, or not Wild Mida, V-Shoots Gween, absolutely on top of the circuit today. I think he's gonna have, plenty of breathing room to make this stop happen. Absolutely tiptoeing his way around the circuit. Into the pit lane comes our leader. Oh, and he's hit the wall on entry. I don't think he's got any wing damage, though. That was very close. Unholy Red Eye battling Pork Chops here. Now we might start to get to see some overtaking. This is going to be for what would be a podium position, although Pork Chops still has yet to stop. Look at the gap to the leader, Pork Chops. 49 seconds behind. I mean, he might have enough time to make this stop and not lose out on that many positions, although if we look at who stopped, Pork Chops and Wild Mida, the only 2 drivers on the grid yet to stop. And in fact, here comes Wild Mida now. That's going to give, I believe, probably P2 at this point to Unholy Red Eye. Evil Prime not that far behind. Wild and Pork Chop in this time. So Pork Chop's only really going to fall down to P6. That's not bad at all unless Ray 46 can really make a huge effort at this moment in time. Meanwhile, here comes Evil Prime, trying to find his way to the back of Unholy Red Eye. Big oversteer there for Red Eye. Evil Prime, I've been saying this whole race is going to be a test of patience, and I think now is going to be the time for Evil Prime to start making his move. Purple Sector 1, Kaz now setting the fastest lap. Brilliant lap from him. Evil Prime just doing everything he can to wear down Unholy Red Eye, and you can see Unholy Red Eye starting to panic a little bit. You can see that, having a little bit of oversteer on a lot of these corners. The track definitely, the rain definitely starting to lighten up now. Wild Mida picking up a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. That one is not going to help him at all. No Div 3, Steward reports, yeah, that's good news. Big oversteer there for Unholy Red Eye. Now is going to be the time for Evil Prime. Can he make this? Can he make the move? And I don't think he's going to be. Oh, and that's Dean and Nico. He's gone around in a terrible spot of the circuit, losing bits of his front wing as well. Pulling out in front of Feeman, hopefully. Hopefully he doesn't get in his way. Dean and Nico is luck. I feel like this is becoming a reoccurring thing. Every week I have this same sentence. Dean and Nico, his luck going from bad to worse. Under the bridge they go. SC Smith's now setting the fastest lap. Evil Prime has just been so patient trying to get around. Dean and Nico is going around again. This time through the bridge. That's not exactly where you want to be. If you're done in, and yeah, well, yeah, his wing, well, it's gone. It's not there anymore. Dean and Nico continues to unfortunately tumble down the order. Meanwhile, the battle for second place heating up still. Mitch Burns, don't forget about him. He's made up a considerable amount of time. He might want in on this as well. I doubt he's gonna... I mean, he'll definitely want to be back into the podium positions after starting P2. We have a car off there again. I think it is Dean and Nico once more. Evil Prime still 0.5 of a second back on Unholy Red Eye. ZGS now with the fastest time. Some sort of mistake there for Unholy Red Eye. This is going to be the best chance I think Evil Prime gets. Really breathing down the back of his neck now. Still doing everything he can, Evil Prime. You really have to admire the patience. And we do have a DNF. Dean and Nico has gone off outside of the, after the bridge, and a full safety car. This, man, I mean, I'm trying to, oh my goodness. I mean, Division 3, we like it spicy. What else can I say? It's not a late safety car by any means, but it's definitely one that's throwing a wrench into some of these drivers' plans. Now, these intermediate tires are going to last you between 15 and 17 laps. So at the moment, I mean, I think from when they've put the tires on, they might need to stop one more time. Unless they can really stretch it out. But at the same time, it looks like the circuit maybe starting to... The rain keeps getting lighter. That part's for sure. V-Shoots Queen catching up to the safety car now. That very nice looking Aston Martin safety car. That part is very true. I will say that thing is an absolute beauty. I think the red would have made more sense here in Singapore. Whose flag is red and white. But I don't know. What do I know? So, the question now becomes, are these drivers going to make the intermediate tires last long enough? Because, I mean, if you think about it, they're going to get a little bit of breathing room here with the safety car. And I'm going to be honest, I think the safety car is going to be sticking around for just a little while now. It's going to take at least 4, maybe 5 laps to get the field all caught up to itself. Still no reports to be had in the Division 3 side of things, although we did start a bit late. So what does this mean for V-Shoots Queen? I mean, I think he's on the freshest tires. Yeah, he's definitely on the freshest tires out of anyone at this moment. was able to make the stop. I tell you what, Vicious Queen's had the start of dreams, and I knew he would as well. Going into those first couple corners there, you know, as soon as I saw him kind of make his way through and get out to a good enough gap, I really said, you know, this is going to be the turning point in the race. He's very important here for Vicious Queen. He amounted to about a 40-second lead at one point, and now, unfortunately, all that progress has been lost. So the full safety car out here. Lap 13, I think, officially it came out on. Now this is going to prove especially deadly for Wild Mida, Kaz, and the rest of them with time penalties. And I'm looking now, potential league ban going on in the stewards chat here. Can we just look at this now? Potential something has happened here in a different division, and the stewards are definitely talking about a league ban. I mean, that's a bit interesting to say the least. So this goes off to here. I'm just looking at this now. I mean, I'm not entirely sure. Oh yeah, that's not gone well at all. Marky Mark. I don't know what division that is in. Man, that's not pretty. ZGS, meanwhile, the medium tire. Out on track, I've definitely missed that. He thinks he's confident enough to take this circuit on the medium tires. That could be crucial if this track just dries up anymore. So, this is interesting because now we have a driver on the medium tires who, whether that be an accident or not, we'll leave that up to debate later. Vicious Queen, his internet not really doing him all the favors here. I forgot to mention I've got my heart rate monitor on mirror. I say my heart rate monitor, just my Fitbit. But I have a resting heart rate of 68, I think. So if something exciting happens, I'll definitely throw that in, but I believe my resting heart rate's about a solid 68. Keep that in mind. It is up to about an 80 right now, although I have been commentating this exciting race. And I don't know who this Marky Mark guy is, but I definitely think he's in trouble. I was watching the incident myself just now, and man, that was about the furthest thing away from an accident there. I think, and I say that with all due respect, I think that has got to be some sort of ban there. Are we adjusting a front wing on this car? No, we're not. I thought Kaz had some sort of damage coming in. Shelly the Turtle, or that's Spool and Dub rather, fitting the mediums as well. These guys definitely counting on the circuit drying up shortly. I tell you what, the rain getting lighter and lighter every lap, especially now under safety car. So Vicious Queen, I mean, so this is interesting on his part. He's going to be the leader. Everybody's going to go follow the leader and say, whatever Vicious Queen does, that's what I'm going to do. And that's going to be interesting because I'm not entirely sure if Vicious Queen knows what to do. He doesn't understand that 3 drivers behind him have gone and boxed for the medium tire. Safety car in this lap. only about, I'd say, half the field caught up to each other. Capital 58 is gone for the softs now. This is the interesting part. They're not going to last that long. The soft tires only really going to last about 7 to 9 laps. Man, oh man, this is going to get interesting really quick. V Shoots Queen has to be the most stressed man in this whole field. He sees that the track is drying up. He doesn't know that people are starting to pit for the medium tires and soft tires. The rest of the field is going to be copying exactly what he does. This one is definitely going to be interesting. V Shoots Queen has the newest tires out of anybody in this top 4 right now. Wild might have not that far behind. But here we go. Field coming out of turns number 22 and 23. Back to green flag racing. Let's see what can happen. Can Evil Prime make the move this time on Unholy Red Eye? He's going to brake really early and choose the safe route. And I tell you what, Evil Prime has been behind Unholy Red Eye this entire race. I'm not entirely sure that's the move right there to play it exactly clean. Well, not clean, more or less gutsy. SC Smith coming in now. Kaz coming in now. Had a bit of an incident back there. I believe it was maybe the AlphaTauri of Racing Ginger had something happen to him. Most importantly, V Shoots Queen has a 1.5 second gap now on the rest of the field. The rest of the field, at the moment, making it through the track cleanly. Bit of an incident there, I believe, going into the pit lane. That looks like it was Spool and Dub coming in, maybe hit wall on entry. Definitely a possibility. Dead text message, can he find his way around Feeman? Yellow flag over in Sector 1. That is the McLaren of Kaz. Something has happened to him. Evil Prime within 0.6 of a second on Unholy Red Eye. Do you think that after this lap comes by, we might get DRS? The track definitely starting to dry up, although there's still a little bit of standing water on the track. Do you think that it could happen? Well, we've passed the halfway point in the race. It's going to get heated now. Dead text message. Can he find his way around the Williams? He's going to have to be a little bit gutsy. That's the thing. He's kind of been stuck behind him for a little while now. Evil Prime, still 0.8 of a second behind. Ray 46 up to P6. V Shoots Queen setting the fastest lap of 1:54. The rain has stopped, ladies and gentlemen. It is no longer raining here in Singapore. Now is going to be the time to make the decision on tires. It's going to be up to V Shoots Queen to lead the way. What can he do? He's going to have to put down an absolutely monster couple laps here as the track is definitely starting to dry. These intermediates are going to lose grip. He's got 3 seconds on Unholy Red Eye. I can see a little bit of standing water still in this section of the track down the straight. Well, more like the isn't straight, really, but still. Dead text message within 0.2 of a second. He's really being caught up behind this Williams here. He's going to have to find a way around him. Trying to find the outside, and he will. Let's see if it's going to pay off. Still side by side. Getting forced out beyond the rumble strips there. Has he just found the wall? Dead text message into the wall. He tried to find the position. He finds himself in the barriers. Evil Prime still trying to find his way back to Unholy Red Eye. You can see visibly now the track drying. Unholy Red Eye not getting the best exit to the corner he could have. No DRS in sight yet. I assume it's going to be coming this next lap. The track definitely, aside from these straights, I will say these straights still look absolutely soaked. But I think everywhere else on the circuit might be okay. Evil Prime really missing his braking zone there going into, that's turn 17, that is. Oh, missing it again! Keep it off the barriers and barely. Evil Prime, he's gonna, I think he's gonna be coming in this lap. Let's see what V Shoots Queen does. Is he gonna take the hard left in the pits? The answer is, well, yes, I guess. I don't know, his internet is not helping. Oh, I have no idea what's happening. V Shoots Queen made a, what is happening? I don't know. And now he's what's happened? What? I have absolutely no clue what's happening here. Pork Chops yet again making the executive decision to stay out whilst everyone else pits. This is what happened when drivers were switching over to the intermediates. You think that he's made some sort of huge error. If he shoots clean, he's going to come out in what seems to be P3. Everybody and their mother boxing behind them. ZGS, I think at this point, is probably going to inherit the lead. He can definitely make it to the end on this medium compound. It's going to be tight, though. Pork Chop's really a sitting duck. It's not like he's gaining any time as well. 6 seconds. The gap between him and ZGS, and it keeps getting smaller as well. If we look at the gap back from the leader, Pork Chops, I tell you what, he's going to fall to about P6 or 7. Man, oh man, this one is going to get interesting really quick. And I think it's time for some Div 5 guys to be reminded, not a chat room. Meanwhile, the gap from Pork Chops back to ZGS now within 5 seconds. And I tell you what, I really hate to be the Div 5 stewards, but it seems like they're in for quite a night. Wild Mida, can he find his way around Ray 46? I tell you what, the track still looks a little bit wet through that section of the track. V shoots Queen, a 3-second time penalty. Not what he needed at all. Granted, that's quite the gap. But man, oh man, that is not what he needed whatsoever. He's got a solid gap back to ZGS as well. Unbelievable scenes here. He did set a perfect Sector 3, though. A 5-second gap between him and the leader at the moment. Cars coming in. When I say cars coming in, it's just Pork Chops. I believe that's Shelly the Turtle as well. Evil Prime, that gap now 1.6 seconds. Noganator, let's see if he can get past the red X of Feeman here. Pork Chops, he wants the inside. Is he going to keep it? Oh, Pork Chops didn't have the corner that he needed. Went right into the path of the Noganator. Noganator now down to the inside. Can he make this position happen? And the answer is going to be no. Let's off there. Plays it cleanly, although he is going to have the DRS. Still a little bit of moisture out on track. That is the sketchy part to this. Still some moisture. Track's starting to spread out a little bit. Pork Chops, lots of oversteer coming off of turn number 7, and he's lost the position. He shoots Green Eye, will say, making up a lot of time here. Was that about 5 seconds not that long ago, now down to 4.2. Spooling up, sets the fast slap of 152. Who's that? Shelly the Turtle letting the field go off. I thought he's done it wrong in there. I guess he's just letting people go by. V shoots Queen, mind you. That gap is closing super fast. It was about 5 seconds at the beginning of the lap, and now, oh, he's made a large mistake there. Kept it off the wall quite nicely. That gap now hurtling down within 3 seconds. I will say, V shoots Queen trying to find every ounce of speed that he can through this circuit, down to 2.5 seconds now. His tire's 4 laps fresher than ZGS. Noganator still trying to find his way past the red X of Feeman. I don't know if he's going to be able to or not. I don't know if it's an AI or not, but it's taking up all of the circuit, whatever it is. That is currently the closest battle on track, other than Capital 58. Can he get past Kaz? Capital's on the soft compound. That, in the long run, I think has become a mistake. I don't think they're definitely not going to last this long now. They're 3 laps old. Can't really last more than 9 unless you're really, really stretching. He's got 10 to go still. Oh my. Intervals have done it wrong in here. Is Unholy Red Eye truly P1? I don't think he is. I think ZGS still P1. Meanwhile, he's got V shoots Gleeden right behind him. Yeah, my interval's choosing to not exist. We do have a Mercedes that's gone off. That is the Noganator. Something has happened with him. Off on exit of turn 5. Not a good place to be off whatsoever. Looks like the Ferrari a little bit slow there. Cass picking up a 3-second time penalty. Do have an incident over there somewhere in the first couple corners. That's the Ferrari of Shelly the Turtle along the right-hand barrier. Something has happened with him. Meanwhile, ZGS, that gap, now within a second. ZGS, I mean, I really don't expect him to be able to hold off Vishu Queen for another 10 laps. However, he has to hold him off long enough. He has to hold him off, not exactly to not let him by, but because Vishu Queen does have that 3-second penalty. It does have 3 seconds. I don't think his spot is under any danger from Unholy Red Eye. He's got a cool 12 seconds behind. Vishu Queen now setting the fastest lap of 1:47.48. Quite a ways off the fastest lap. Keeping that in mind as well. Yellow flag in Sector 2. That looks like the Ferrari of Shelly the Turtle. Something's happened there. Vishu Queen, now he's got the DRS on ZGS. Let's see if he can find his way past. Switches to the outside. It's going to be side by side coming into turn number 7. Vishu Queen, can he take the spot? That was a brilliant overtake from him as well. Absolutely brilliantly done there. Let's see now if he can keep this mistake-free. He's got to make up, a solid 3 seconds in order to keep this win. He's got 9 laps to do so. Oh, and there goes ZGS. He's gone around on the throttle too early, coming out of turn number 9. And as it turns out, Vishu Queen is going to have this one easier than he expected. Shelly the Turtle's heading off over there in turn 14. ZGS has gone off again in the middle of the circuit. I come back with him. He's nearly collected about 3 cars in the way of Mitch Burns. Shelly the Turtle picking up 3 seconds for multiple warnings. ZGS, his day going from bad to worse. I think he's missed. If Codemasters would give me a proper angle. I tell you what, Codemasters, I'm really surprised they don't take camera angles from actual F1 broadcasts. I mean, these things are just atrocious. Shelly the Turtle, I believe he's gone off again over there. Actually, it doesn't look like much of his front wing is gone, despite only hitting the wall about 10 times in that section of the circuit. Ray 46, within 0.3 of a second on Pork Chops. Evil Prime was able to get up to P3 in the Calamity. Oh, it's ZGS. He's slow again. ZGS losing out on another couple spots there. Now, ZGS really wasn't having that bad of a time there. Just one mistake piled onto another. Evil Prime inherits P2 after that whole calamity. Mitch Burns, by the way, back into the podium spots. As Unholy Red Eye, now he's coming in. What is happening here for Unholy Red Eye? It looks like he's lost a front wing in the calamity with ZGS going there after the, what usually is the sling chicane. That's 10, 11, 12. And that's put him down to P9. ZGS, what's happened? Oh, I think he's just going into the pits. Okay, that was kind of a buzzkill, if I'm honest. I thought he'd been it somewhere. That was going to be a mess. Pork Chops, 0.4 of a second off. He's got Ray 46 in hot pursuit as well. Not to mention, I believe that's Noganator starting to close in on this as well. Looks like Pork Chops finding his way around Feynman here for P5. Not bad at all. Pork Chops, I tell you what, despite this Alfa Romeo team not having all the best of luck, despite not being on top of the Constructors' Championships, I think Pork Chops has definitely been one of the more consistent drivers in this field. Definitely doing everything he can to keep that string of results up. In fact, if we look at the results now, his last 3 races, Pork Chops finished 5th, 5th, 4th. Now currently P5. That is an absolutely ridiculous string of consistency. Very reminiscent of Monkey Mafia last season. Vishu Queen 144, now the fastest lap of the race. Shelly the Turtle kind of complaining that his diff-free races, the ones that he's partaken in, have been rain races. Well, Midas seems to have occurred a penalty. He's got 3 seconds of time. That's going to give Pork Chops P4. He's not that far off of Mitch Burns either. I think he could potentially make that up eventually as well. Actually, I lied to you. That's an 11-second gap. Wow. Anyways, Vishu Queen out to a 20-second lead now. Wild Mida has the penalty. I think that's going to definitely set him back a little bit. Not really all that much happening on circuit. Capital 58, can he find his way around Kaz? Now Capital is on the soft tires. Look and see, 6 laps old. Those soft tires, this is what I was talking about. Those soft tires, probably not going to make it to the end of the race as far as he was concerned. And yeah, I think he's done a huge mistake there. Ray 46 manages to get to P6. See if Capital can find his way around Kaz. I definitely think Capital might be starting to fall off with those soft tires. Unholy Red Eye now putting on fresh softs. Wild Mida falling back even further. Pork Chops getting up into P4. That was pretty solid there. I'm not sure if Wild Mida made some sort of mistake or not. I thought there was a little bit further of a gap. However, Pork Chops was able to take P4 and done it well. Ray 46 now has a little bit of a gap to Wild Mida to make up for that P5 spot. V-Shoot Queen goes 1:43.125 for a new fastest lap of the race. Ray 46, oh, he took that corner just a little bit wider than I thought he would. Wild Mida's got some work to do here. Let's see if he can maybe find another way around Pork Chops, or at least put a bit of a gap back to Ray 46. So given it's almost 2 seconds, although he only has about 6, 7 laps to go to get that thing put away, really. That gap doesn't look to be getting any smaller. Oh, V-Shoots Queen. Almost, I have no clue what's happening with his internet right now. I'm sorry. That one is tough. Wild Mida doing his best he can to stick to Pork Chops here. Looks like Kaz has come into the pits. Oh, we've got Ray 46. What's happened? He's gone around on exit of turn number, that's 7. Thankfully, he's not done in his front wing, but losing any of the ground that he made up. Not what he needed. He shoots everything in his power, setting fastest laps left and right. Looks like the Noganator trying to find his way to Ray 46 very shortly. About a 5/10 of a second gap. Nice little train of cars through here. Doesn't look like anybody's really close enough together to get anything to happen, although stranger things have happened here in Division 3. We've seen a lot of it so far. Wild Mida picking up 3 more seconds. That adds up to 6. Not what he needs at all. I'd say the biggest mover of the day so far has to go to Feeman. 14 spots in the right direction. Noganator picked up 11. Evil Prime up 2. Pork Chops up 6. Solid result from him so far, and in the wrong direction. I guess Shelly the Turtle, after his DNF, 10 spots lost. SC Smith, 9 spots lost. Looks like, did the Noganator make his way around Ray 46? Ooh, almost getting into his gearbox there. Very, very close. And Noganator really wants this spot, I'll tell you that much. He's really trying to be aggressive with this, force Ray into a mistake. Very common, by the way, on Singapore, if you haven't noticed already in this race. Ray 46 trying to block off that slipstream as they go down into turn 10. Both of these drivers trying to use every inch of the circuit they can. Into turn 13, they're going to have the DRS this time by potentially. I don't think he's really close enough to make anything happen, although Ray 46 really has to pick up the pace if he wants to keep this spot, because I think Noganator right now definitely has the pace to make an effort for this position. Noganator still doing everything he can to find his way to Ray 46, although I will say Ray doing an excellent job after that earlier mistake that he had. It doesn't look like he's been making any more. The field really starting to get spread out now. V-Shoots Queen hasn't got a lot of time left. So I'm just checking the rosters to see actually where V-Shoots Queen is from. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe he's just in as a reserve. I'm not entirely sure. Evil Prime setting the fastest lap, 141. Not a bad lap at all. Ray 46 now starting to come up to the robot of Feeman here. Up my headphones, man. V-Shoots Queen went up to Division 5 full-time. So we have a Division 5 driver currently on top of our race here. Here's Feeman to the inside of Pork Chops to see if anything can happen here. Wow, really side-by-side. Wow, big off there for Feeman. He's gone round, making contact. Got out at the worst part in time, but we had the Unholy Red Eye and Noganator come together. Goodness gracious. The recording had just reached an hour, and as soon as I went along with these two, the recording cut out. Wow, what's happening here? Oh, dead text message right into the back of Unholy Red Eye. What is happening? I mean, I have absolutely no clue what's going on here. Are tempers flaring or are people missing braking zones? Dead text message really took no prisoners there and went straight into the back of, I believe that was the Alpine of Unholy Red Eye or somebody. I'm not sure who it was, but he absolutely went straight through him. Pork Chops made his way to P6, Ray 46 to P5. Wild Mida has made up a really solid gap, although with the penalties, he's about 0.3 of a second away from keeping that spot, although it looks like Ray 46 definitely doing his best to keep his pace together. Deck text message now within 9/10 of a second on Feeman, still doing everything he can to get past him. It looks like the field now really starting to get spread out here. I'm not entirely sure what caused that incident not that long ago. I was looking at driver rosters as V-Shoots Queen. I mean, he was in Div 5 last week, wasn't sure if he was a reserve or not. Said, hey, I'm going to do some research really quick, see if he's a full-time driver or not. The incredible part is Feeman really got into Pork Chops there, almost took both of their races out as a dead text message getting into him there. V-Shoots Queen sets the fastest lap, 140.254, and he's got 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go here for the Division 5 man. Oh, that's the Noganator gone off. Bad part of the circuit there. Turn 8. He almost got into spool and dub as well. That was almost really not pretty. Spool and dub, let's see if he can potentially make the move on the Noganator through the old Singapore sling. Let's see if he can get him with the DRS zone. Definitely looks like he's got pace on the side. Oh, not the best corner there from Spool and Dub at all. Get a yellow flag over in Sector 3. Must not be important. Oh, wow, that's Wild Mida. Wild Mida's gone sideways under the bridge. Currently facing the wrong way on the circuit. Man, he's got to get that car turned around. We got cars coming through shortly, right in front of Pork Chops. That was dead text message, rather. Right in front of dead text message. Wild Might, oh, and now he's going to get in front of the Noganator. He's trying his best to unwedge the car from underneath the bridge. Picks up 5 seconds for a severe collision. Good gravy. That was almost more of a calamity than it really needed to be. Unbelievable occurrence here. He's going to let Capital 58 go by. Wild Might dropping down the order. I think Mitch Burns at this point really has the podium secure. About a 32-second gap back to Ray 46. Wild Mida picking up 3 more seconds for multiple warnings as if he didn't need any more penalties. Oh, and he's gone off! Right on exit of turn 22, the DNF for Wild Mida. Final lap of the race. V-Shoots Queen making his way through turns 1, 2, and 3. I doubt they're going to throw a safety car at this point. I thought they were even going to throw a VSC. V-Shoots Queen doing everything he can just to keep this pace up. Do you think he could potentially be going for a fastest lap? I tell you what, he's not that far off it as well. His current fastest lap, I believe, is a 140. The fastest lap is a 139.028. Purple Sector 1. Let's go a little bit further back. Yeah, I think, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I think this result is pretty much locked up at this point in time. I don't see much that anybody else could do to make any more positions happen, although I will be impressed if Wild Mida finishes above SC Smith, who currently P15. Yeah, there he goes, jumps above him. And I think you'd have to believe that Wild Mida is going to be under investigation for that. I mean, I'm not sure if he could get away with that, really. It wasn't necessarily his fault. He's wedged absolutely in the middle of the track, of the stadium section, although it's definitely not helped him whatsoever. But V-Shoots Queen coming through the stadium section one more time. Started on the pole. Really has done everything he could to ensure that he's had the pace to make a good result happen. Coming through turns 22 and 23, V-Shoots Queen gonna take the win here at Singapore. An absolutely dominant display from the Red Bull drivers. Evil Prime still finding his way through the circuit. Or that was Mitch Burns I was just along with. Evil Prime finding his way through the circuit. Evil Prime, another great result from him. I think he's going to come across the line at P2. Absolutely brilliant display from him, making a position on the start. And what's this? Is he going to do a burnout? That's exactly what's happening. And a little bit disrespectful there, I have to say. Mitch Burns going to be coming around the final corner, P3. Our podium locked out here. Absolutely brilliant day if you've got Honda making your engines, that's for sure. Looks like Ray 46 going to be making his way through the circuit. He's going to be taking P4. Great day for Ray 46 as well. Had about everything in the kitchen sink thrown at him and end up with P4. That's pretty solid. Ray 46 comes across the line, P4, Pork Chops P5. Dead text message, how much penalties does he have? 3 seconds, yeah, I don't think he's under pressure there from Feeman, who's, I think, been a red X the whole time. Anyways, P6 for dead text messages, Alfa Romeo P5 and P6. Very nice result from them. However, I do think the big winners have to be the Red Bull team. Alpine, I think, honestly, Alpine probably the biggest losers of the day. Only one car finishes, and it's P13. That's not a very impressive points haul there. Alfa Romeo are going to inch that much closer. AlphaTauri needed a good result. They got a pretty solid one with Evil Prime finishing P2. But V-Shoots Queen, I mean, what an absolutely dominant display from him today. Unbelievable result for him. Feeman taking driver of the day, as it turns out. But a Red Bull 1 and 2 on the starting grid ends in a Red Bull 1 and 3 on the podium. Absolutely brilliant day from those Austrian lads there. I'll tell you what a day it's been if you had Honda supply your engines. So, to round out your finishing order here, V-Shoots Queen taking the win here. Well, it started raining. Had V-Shoots Queen taking the win here. Evil Prime P2. Mitch Burns P3. Red Bull 1 and 3. Nicely done. Ray 46 goes up from P9 to finish 4th. Pork Chops in 5th. Dead Text Message 6th. Feeman in 7th. 8th is Spooned Up. 9th Noganator. 10th Capital 58. 11th Racing Ginger. 12th is Cass. 13th is Unholy Red Eye. 14th SC Smith. And that will end the drivers that finished the race. And hopefully now we can get to those interviews. Okay, I'm here with two of our Podium 3 finishers, V-Shoots Queen and Evil Prime. Welcome, guys, both of you. What a race it was. Evil Prime, I want to start with you. You had a pretty solid qualifying session, getting yourself right up there as well. How much practice did you have on this track in the rain? It was going to be a tricky surface for everybody today. How much did you prepare for this race?
On the rain, I didn't practice at all, honestly. I was just going with the draw. I was like, just hoping for the best. I was like, it's just hope. And then I was actually talking to Smith, and I was like, dude, I have a feeling we're gonna get full wets. And that's what we got. And I was like, all right, you just gotta adapt, Adapt, change the setup, and the setup doesn't change much from dry to wet, in my opinion, from this track.
Absolutely. Now, towards the end of the race there, it started to dry out a little bit towards that last 10-15 laps or so. Were you planning for that, or was it really just follow the leader and see whatever he did and see if you can beat him out there?
It was more following the leader, yeah. Following more Unholy Red Eye. He was in front of me, so I was like, whatever he does, I'm going to go ahead and do. Because I was like, I wasn't too sure going into the slicks yet or not, but he went in, then Mitch Burns went in, and I was just like, all right, let's go in.
Well, so next week you guys are on break week, October 7th, but after that we go to Silverstone, Baku, and Monza. How do you rate your next 3 coming up?
I'll put myself in the podium again on those 3 races. Baku and Silverstone, one of my favorite tracks, so I'm looking forward to it, honestly.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on the 2nd place for you. Absolutely brilliant start to the race as well. Well done for you. V-Shoots Queen, I tell you what, if I was in the Red Bull garage, I would absolutely invest in V-Shoots right now. Absolutely brilliant pace all race. I'm going to ask the same question to you. How much did you prepare for this race? Obviously, it's a tough track by itself, and then throw in some rain. Definitely had to be some preparation going to that, I'd assume.
Well, actually, before the race, like an hour earlier, I hopped into some time trial. The dry, and just like to compete with my friends list. I want to be at the top, and I just was doing some laps in the dry, and never thought the race was gonna be completely wet, so that was a surprise.
Yeah, and I tell you what, you were one of this is gonna sound a little surprising, you were one of the kind of people in the middle that didn't really catch on to the track drying as much, or maybe you just thought it was safer on the intermediate tires, but we had people, it was still raining coming in for that medium tire. How how much stress were you under in that time when the track is drying? How much did you think to yourself, okay, I gotta really choose when I box here, I gotta make something happen?
Well, actually, I realized that the track was drying out, but I just had a pretty nice cab, and I just said, no, it's not worth the gamble. The slicks are probably faster than the inners, but just was calm all race, just didn't need to take the gamble.
Absolutely, and yeah, same question again, our next 3, Silverstone, Baku, and Monza. How do you think you'll do?
Well, I'm pretty strong at Silverstone, and Baku I haven't actually raced there much this game, and Monza I'm pretty strong too. But it all depends on what division you're racing.
Absolutely. So I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, if you had Honda supplying your engines tonight, your car was doing really good. And if I was in the Red Bull team, I'd be putting my money on V-Shoots Queen. Absolutely brilliant pace all race today. Congratulations to both of you and to your teammate as well. Red Bull definitely the biggest winners of the day here in Division 3. And from all of us at the Midwest F1 League, we will see you next week, which I believe the rest of the league goes and where do they go next week? Next week they actually go to Silverstone themselves. So everybody, actually no, they come back to Singapore next week. Last week was their break week. They're at Japan tonight. So come along with us again next week. If you're in any of the other divisions, back to Singapore, and yeah, we'll see you then.